Hey guys, this is X, and in today's video for Elder Scrolls Online for Beginners, um, I wanted to cover visuals, and there's a few visual options that you can do on here that I think, personally for me, would it just greatly enhances, how you see things. The first thing we're going to do right now is take a look at nameplates. Now, if I walk up to somebody, if I have the cursor, right on them, of course I can see what their level is, as well as what their name is, and also their title. Now, a cool thing that you can do is if you go into options and go into nameplates and you turn the nameplates on, you can actually see everybody's name above their head. And if you run the cursor over them, because at first it's kind of like this dark blue, but if you run the cursor over it becomes light blue, that way you can see who they are. Now you're still going to see the information right there, in your top part of your screen, but this is a lot easier to differentiate between like who's like good guys and who's the bad, because you can also have like nameplates over your NPCs, enemies, just various critters and so on and so forth. And you can even, just to where you show your health bars, where they're sitting at, and so on and so forth. So for me, I don't put the bars over the enemies like the monsters, because I really, I see it, I might know what they are, I don't really need to know what they are. But and even on certain NPCs I won't do that. But if it's like a main NPC, like let's say, this like the stable master right here, anybody like that, I'll generally have it on there so I can see them. Especially, and it's helpful if you're wandering around and you see somebody walking a distance and you're not for sure if it's a merchant or not, then you'll be able to see the nameplate really well and tell, basically who's who. And now another good option is if you go into the options section again, you go into interface, and what you want to do, of course you can also fix what you see as what is showing on your display above your head, but you also have many options of like being able to see what your number is, as opposed to seeing like the bar gradually filling up. You can actually see a number if you prefer it that way. But what you're wanting to do now is go down to where it says, where is that at? Combat text. And what it is you want to have that, at least I prefer to have it on, but if you're interested, just turn that on, and that way when you're fighting you can see as far as like the numbers, as far as what your damage that you're afflicting is, if you're what you're getting, if you're healing, and and so on and so forth. Hopefully I can find maybe a spider to fight, unless everybody's killed them all. This might work on this guy. Let's see. Yeah, as you can see, that number 798 popped up, so that was the damage that creature took. Now another thing that's a pretty interesting option is the social. Now as you can see, this may not pop up in the beginning, but if you look on my screen on the right, not exactly on the bottom right, but it's pretty close to it, you'll see like a text bubble. They give ESO, well, the ZeniMax is giving you the option to use text chat as opposed to voice. You could still do either or, but in case you don't know, go into options, go into social. You can actually turn on your HUD chat display, which is the text that you will see, and you can also change the lettering. I prefer mine the large lettering at least. And you can also have the option to have the profanity filter on, which I don't really care. It doesn't really bother me, so I have mine off. So So when people are talking, and there hasn't been anybody talking quite yet, but you could see if if you've been in a zone for at least a little while, you can go into the social and then go into your text chat, and then you can see basically what people have written so far. And if you specifically want to talk to a particular person, you would just highlight their name and just choose the option of whispering, which means it's just between the conversation between you and that person. That way everybody in the in the area doesn't really have to see it. Now if you're wanting to do a generalized chat, you can either use the just your standard USB keyboard, or you could use your controller. Now to bring it up, of course you have to use your controller at first, but then once you bring it up, you can actually use your just your regular keyboard. Now when you have this highlighted, if you go ahead and press left on your directional pad, you'll get like a list of options that you can choose. Like if you specifically want to talk to your guild, you can go ahead and do that. Or just let's say officers. If you type in say that, that's just people in the general area. I don't think it's really that big, but it's big enough to where at least I'd say probably, I don't know, maybe in the city, maybe they could possibly hear you. Yell expands out a little bit further. I don't know how much further it is as opposed to let's say, which I can imagine it's like everybody in the city or town or whatever you're in, and just a little bit further out. And zone, of course, is just the entire zone you're in. So if I decide to use the text chat for a zone, like everybody in Stone Falls will be able to see what I'm writing as well. And another option too is, which I find very interesting, is if you want to advertise, like you're wanting to sell something. Let's say I'm wanting to get rid of some crawlers. If I tap triangle for options, I can actually link that in the chat, and that will pop up on the chat. And I believe, let me see, somebody has already did this. Oh yeah, so somebody right there is trying to get rid of some Sigic ambrosia to sell. But that's all I wanted to talk to you guys for today. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and please subscribe if you haven't done so already. And I hope to talk to you guys real soon. Take care.